Welcome to the Financial Fun Podcast with your host, Tammy Johnston. This is where Tammy talks with business owner parents and grandparents about the interesting and important subject of money. We promise this to be an interesting and open discussion, as that's how we learn best. And now, here's your host, author of the Financial Foundations. Financial Foundations is a series of books to teach kids about money, goal setting, and living a balanced life. Find out more at financialfun.ca. Here's Tammy Johnston.
First things first, I would like to thank all of my listeners that have subscribed and reviewed my podcast and invite you to subscribe and review if you haven't yet. I appreciate you helping us to get the word out and making financial literacy a safe and welcoming subject for kids and adults. Second, please check out my podcast website, financialfun.ca, where you will be able to access past shows, find out more about me and our guests, as well as purchase the beautifully illustrated Financial Foundations books that teach kids about money in a fun, healthy, and holistic way. Hello once again, and thank you for joining us for the Financial Fun Podcast. Today our guest is the lovely Ellen Scharf. Thank you for joining us, Ellen.
Thank you for having me.
So, Ellen, would you tell us a bit about what your business is?
I own and operate a dog walking service called Fun for Dogs. I've been in business for 10 years this month, and I do 2 off-leash group walks a day at the off-leash parks in Calgary.
Well, congratulations. Happy anniversary. That's a really big milestone.
Yeah, I'm pretty impressed with myself too, actually.
So you get to spend a lot of time outside having fun with our four-legged friends.
Yep, for sure. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Well, if you're going to keep doing it for 10 years, you need to be enjoying yourself.
Absolutely.
And what is your family situation, Ellen?
Well, I got married 4 months ago for the second time. I have a 25-year-old daughter, 2 stepchildren, and a 18-month-old grandson.
Oh my, so you've definitely got your life full with kids now.
Not really so much. All the kids are, in their late 20s, early 30s. Have their own lives going. So they're not really on it's not like we're managing them on a day-to-day basis in a step family situation.
Oh, but you get the fun stuff. You get baby cuddles.
He's not so fond of me yet, but we'll work on that. He likes his papa much better than he likes me.
Well, you know what? Hopefully he'll warm up.
Oh yeah, once we can start doing fun stuff like going bike riding and camping and fishing and stuff like that, then he'll enjoy me a lot more.
Oh, of course. Kids love adults that will play with them.
Exactly.
So thinking back to when you were a kid, when did you first start discovering and learning that money was something important that you needed to pay attention to it?
Looking back, I can remember counting all my coins in my piggy bank when I was about 7 or 8. And I was quite pleased that I had over $27 in change in there. And I would just count it and set it up and sort it and order it and play with it.
Oh, that's definitely quite a common thing. I know that my daughter and a lot of other kids are very fascinated by counting their money and sorting it out. And the question I get is, how come a dime is worth more than a nickel if a nickel's bigger?
I can imagine that. Yeah, I think I remember my daughter asking me that question too. Thinking
back to when your daughter was much younger and stuff, when did she first start asking questions and what was she curious about?
The thing that comes to mind is that I started using debit quite a bit when she was little. So she couldn't quite figure out how if I didn't have money, then I could just use the card. If I didn't actually have the physical cash, why couldn't I just use the card to buy her stuff? She didn't quite understand that the debit card meant the money was coming out of my account and there had to be money in there for it to come out of my account.
Yeah, that seems to be a big one because there's so many people that they never carry cash at all. It's always on either the credit card or the debit card, which isn't a bad thing if it's managed well, but because if kids haven't had the experience of understanding that those cards are linked to your account and there has to be money and stuff there, they can't make the emotional connection that actually is money and it's just not magic.
Well, I think there's still a lot of adults who can't make that connection too.
Oh, very, very much so.
Oh yeah, I got a credit card. I can buy anything I want.
Very, very much so. I've found that when I'm working with a lot of clients that want to get their spending under control, I put them on a cash diet, and that curbs things an awful lot because they make that emotional connection that do I want to break a 20 for this rather than, okay, if it's on the plastic, they can just put it in the machine, or the things drive me nuts now, just do the tap feature.
Yeah, and they don't actually see the money going out.
When it's in the wallet and they see that it's leaving, they're paying a lot more attention, which is why the credit card companies and the banks and all that love it when you use the credit card and the tap feature and make it as easy as possible. And the retailers, oh, we can have you pay any way that you like, because they don't want you to have that emotional and intellectual connection to what is actually going on financially in the background.
Well, exactly. Yeah, that cut into it quite a bit.
And with your daughter being like an adult and on her own and stuff now, what are you noticing that's different? What are some of the lessons that you've seen that she has learned?
Well, when she was a teenager, she used to be embarrassed if I would use a coupon or go looking for sales. As soon as she moved out, coupons were quite a nifty thing for her. She wasn't quite so shy about those anymore, about using them or having them. Actually, I think I did a pretty good job with her. She is able to manage her money very well. She lives very well, and she manages to have everything that she needs. So I think I did teach her well.
Well, that's good. I'm very certain that you did. That's our job as a parent, to make sure that our kids get this. And sometimes we wonder if the lessons are getting through, but then when we see that they're off on their own and we see how they're actually behaving and acting, you see that, okay, yeah, they actually were paying attention.
Yeah, that's pretty satisfying actually for me. There's a few people I know who still have their 25-year-olds living at home for whatever reason. And so it feels pretty good to know that she can manage her money, own a car, still have fun, and still be able to live on her own, which is that's the ultimate job, I guess, as a parent, is to make sure they get out on their own and be able to take care of themselves.
Very much so. Like when she was a teenager and growing up and stuff, like, did she ever formally like come out and ask you questions, or did you have to take certain teaching moments, or how did you go about teaching her so that she is the self-sufficient, independent young woman that she is now?
I don't know looking back, I'm not really sure that I ever did carve out any special time. I think she just learned from the way that I managed the house, the way that I managed money, the way that I spoke about money. She just learned through osmosis almost. I can't recall ever having any special moments, just sitting down and saying, okay, now this is what you have to do. And this is what you shouldn't do.
And did you notice that there was any difference between how things were in your house when she was with you versus when she was with her dad?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. Her father is quite wealthy business owner and not adverse to spreading the cash. So she actually grew up. She tells people she grew up in subsidized housing with her mother, and then when they find out about her father, then they're like, "Well, how come you're not snotty?" And then she tells them, because she grew up with me, learning, the more of a middle class type of values and attitudes towards money.
And it's probably served her quite well when she was younger and going through this. Did that cause any problems with you?
With me, no, because I was still teaching her to live within her means, to not, rack up credit card debt, to be responsible, to pay your debts. And then her father, would spoil her rotten. And then it would take a couple days, to, get her back into the groove of normal life. And then, so she had the best of both worlds. And she will even tell you that now. She had the best of both worlds growing up in that regard with regard to money, because she learned how to manage it. And she also was able to have the freedom to enjoy being spoiled and having, a new computer or a car or boots or whatever whenever she wanted them.
And with her being an only child and stuff, like when she was dealing with friends and stuff, did you notice any differences in how her friends were around certain things?
Not really. No, she traveled with a very level-headed crowd, a very small crowd, a very level-headed, decent bunch of kids. So I didn't really see any of those negative values with the money and stuff, like where you could just throw it around and spend it, and who cares if you wreck something? I didn't buy it, so it's not my problem if I wreck it. That type of attitude. I didn't really see that too much with her growing up.
Oh, that's very good, but it's not so much negative, but just different things. Like I'm dealing with a lot of my clients' kids and stuff are hitting the university age and stuff like that, and their parents have been working really hard on teaching them stuff, but when they're going off to college, that they're meeting kids their own age and stuff, that just do not, it's not that they're spoiled or anything, but they just don't have any of the life experience or ever even been exposed to it. They've just been so sheltered that going out into the adult world is working out to be quite a shock for them.
That's really unfortunate that they get to that age and they still haven't had anybody teach them what's real out there.
Unfortunately, there's so many, well, I don't know how many it is, but there's definitely a problem with the helicopter parents that have, out of love, have sheltered their children from so much that they don't have the life skills when it comes to money or even basically taking care of themselves, because parents have always just done everything for them, and then they go out into the real world and they're going, I don't know how to do anything because I've never had to do anything.
Yeah, actually, I know a few people who still have their kids at home. I don't know, I just don't, and because they never taught them, I guess, how to take care of themselves because they did everything for them. I just never, that wasn't the way that I was raised, to do everything for my child and to take care of them in every aspect of their life, including financial, after they get over the age of 18. It just wasn't in my, I don't even know what the right word is. I don't even know that was something that I could even consider doing.
It's a completely foreign concept.
That's it. That's the right word. It's a completely foreign concept. I don't know. I took so much pleasure in being able to move out and have my own tiny little bachelor pad and owning my 1977 Honda. I ate craft dinner a few nights a week, but I had everything that I needed and I paid for it myself. And that was such a good feeling. I wouldn't want to deny my kid that.
With the new family, because you're just recently married and you have adult stepchildren and stuff, are you seeing any differences between your stepchildren and your daughter and how they handle the subject of money and that?
No, actually, we've pretty much raised the kids with the same sort of mindset that I'll take care of you while you're a kid and you're going to school, and then after that you're on your own. My stepson is trying to be an actor in Vancouver.
Oh, that's a very ambitious goal.
A very ambitious goal, and he's taking care of himself, and he doesn't ask us for money. And even my stepdaughter, who's got the baby, she's out working every day to take care of that baby and herself. So they're all three of them, like, just saying at Christmas, like, we're pretty proud. All of them turned out so well.
Yes, that is definitely something to be very proud of. So how does it work with having the stepson trying to be an actor? Because we know that's a very challenging career path. How is he making it through all of that?
I think he's just thinks he's got it. Thinks he's got what it takes. He's actually had some minor roles on some Canadian shows, and he's just slogging it out. He's just paying his dues, and he's going to stand on the sets all day waiting for his turn to go on, and he's just got the drive to do that. And even at Christmas time I said to him, so you haven't quit your day job, have you? And he goes, yep, I quit my day job. This is what I do full time now. You are crazy.
He is actually able.
He's actually making money doing it.
Oh, that's very impressive.
Definitely eating and definitely able to pay his bills. So that's the main thing. And he's happy. He seems really happy with himself and his choices.
I love that. And the fact that you said that, like you said, he's dedicated and he's putting the work in and he's paying his dues. He's not just expecting some magic wand and somebody else to take care of him.
No, not at all. Not at all.
The arts can be so fulfilling and wonderful, but it definitely takes the work and the dedication, and it's not just being good looking and lucky. It takes it to do it.
Well, some people get by on their good looks and luck, but no, I think most of them have to pay their dues, that's for sure. And he seems really willing to do that.
Well, that's good. I hope he sees much success. So.
Yeah, his father's waiting for his Porsche 911 when he makes it big.
Well, I hope that he does it. I hope that he does it. Does he think about coming back to Calgary at all with our new sound studio and all that, the big film project going on here?
No, it's still way bigger in Vancouver. A lot more opportunity there.
Yeah, and they have much better weather.
Yeah, that too. I mean, yeah. Well, they got really cold this past week, -10.
Yes, and they've had snow, which is like completely foreign.
I know. I was there for 35 years. I remember what it was like to live through snow in Vancouver. You might as well just stay at home.
So to finish off, what are the three things that you feel most successful that having your daughter have learned about money? What are the three things that you think that really that helped her to be the successful adult that she is now?
First thing is the work ethic. She's going to work to take care of herself and her needs. Second is she is very responsible with her credit cards. And the third thing is she's actually saving for her retirement already at 25.
Oh, that's a big one, because a lot of people don't think about saving for the retirement or the long-term stuff until they're well into their 30s. So the sooner the better.
Yes.
The fact that she's already got that's a big one.
Yeah, no, that's pretty huge. Pretty huge and pretty responsible, I think.
And if you could offer 3 bits to parents that are trying to teach their teenagers besides what you've just already told us, what would you want to pass on to parents?
I think the most important thing is let your children get a job and learn how to manage their time and their money. If they want something, they have to earn it, whether they earn it through a job or if they earn it because they did extra chores around the house or whatever. I think earning your money and that sense of accomplishment is so important. And the third thing, let them fall on their butts sometimes.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, let them fall on their butts. I mean, if they get into serious trouble, of course, you're right there, just like a toddler. But teenagers, young adults, let them fall on their butts. Let them figure out how to get out of it themselves. You'd be surprised.
Well, that's a big one.
We always want to rush in and help them and give them money and throw cash at it.
Yeah, they need to learn that, yes, they are going to make mistakes, and then how do you fix it on your own and not always be rescued?
Exactly. Don't rescue them. I think that's the most important thing. Then the work ethic. Then let them get a job.
Those are great things. So thank you so much for joining us today. It was great talking to you.
Yeah, you too.
All right. Have a good one. Before we leave each other, I would ask all of you listening to please subscribe to and rate my podcast. A review would be most appreciated, and feedback is always welcome. Whether it be a comment, future topic suggestions, and/or questions you or your kids would like to have answered in the Ask Tammy column on the financialfund.ca website. Please feel free to check me out on Facebook at Financial Foundation's Children's Books, on Twitter at Financial Fund, and Instagram at financial.fun.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of the Financial Fund Podcast. Join Tammy Johnston again next week. For more information, please visit financialfund.ca.